Hello, Marjorie Lou here with KingdomPurposeLife.com, and I am here to encourage relentless disciples in Jesus Christ. If you have not already done so, pause this video, look down below, and hit the subscribe button. Then hit the bell and mark that you want to receive all notifications. Then you'll know every time that we put out a new video. Then come back and unpause the video, and then we can continue. I want to encourage you today because I notice as I walk around, people are living for all sorts of things, and I get opportunities to talk with people, and I ask them, what's that one thing that you're really living for? What is that one thing that drives you, that gets you out of bed in the morning, that causes you to say, life is worth going after? And I hear people say many different things. That they want to live in a nicer neighborhood, and they really want that for their children, so that is the thing that's driving them, that gets them up to go to work every day. Some people want that promotion at work, or to make a different amount of money. Some people want to start their own business. Some people just want to be at home with their children so that they can raise their children, and they want to be able to walk away from a job. And so I find that these are the types of answers that I get most of the time. But as relentless disciples of Jesus Christ, I want to ask you to consider what you're really focused on. Because in my book, Becoming a Powerful Christian, which I just remind you that we have the book, Becoming a Powerful Christian, we talk about the difference between living a natural life and a supernatural life. And we define supernatural the way the Bible defines it. So when we discover that we want to live in the supernatural life, then the things in the natural aren't quite as important as they used to be. So when people ask me, what is that one thing that you're living for, that's driving you, that gets you up in the morning and says, go after life? This is my one thing. This is that filter that any decision I'm trying to make in my life, whether to do it or not do it, this is my filter. And that is that I serve a king, and one day I'm going to stand before that king, and he is going to judge my works. And so the question is, will I hear, according to the Bible, well done, good and faithful servant? I know that sounds crazy because there's no money in it, there's no prestige, there's no power, there's no glory. But I'm not living for natural things. I don't need to look good in front of man, or I should say people. Man used to be a genderless term. I don't know what it means anymore. So I don't want to exclude anyone. I'm just saying to people, any people, I don't need to look any certain way. I don't need to have any certain thing. It doesn't take stuff for me to be content. Do I like having stuff? Sure. But if I don't have them, and there's so much I don't have, then it's okay. I don't live in a big fancy neighborhood at all, and I'm very content in the place where I am. I don't have new cars, I don't have fancy cars, I don't have prestigious job. I don't really even at this point have a job. Some people would say that was a little bit of a slouch because I made my priority to stay home with my children. And that, to me, is an honorable job, to raise my children, and that's the place that I chose to be. We gave up a lot financially so that I could be home with the children and raise them up. So what I want to hear is, well done, good and faithful servant. When my king puts his hand on my head and tells me and how he sees my life, I want to hear well done. And following those words is, enter into the joy of your master. Well, that's where I'm going to spend eternity. If I, at the time that he is judging the Christians, if I hear, well done, good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your master, from that point on is eternity. So is there anything that a fancy house or an expensive car or a certain neighborhood or lots of money, is there anything that is going to get me that's more valuable than living in the joy of my master? I can't think of a thing, not one thing. So when you start to have a kingdom mindset and think about your life from a kingdom perspective, the way you make decisions will completely change. And what's important to you will change. And your priorities will change. And that's a good thing. Because we want to live that relentless, driving life for our Lord. So when he says, go and speak to that person, and I think, I don't have time, I got a schedule to keep. Which one am I going to do? Well, I'm going to say, time is in God's hands. I'm going to let that schedule go, and I'm going to go and speak to the person he's sending me to speak. What an honor that my King would pick me to go and speak to that person the word he has for them. Or if I'm driving down the road and somebody's broken down, and I drive by people like that all the time. I can't help them. I don't know mechanics. I can't fix a car. But if God says stop, I'll stop. They might need encouragement. God might have me give them $20. I don't know, whatever it is. I have literally heard the Lord say to give somebody $20, and I drove off. And I was so convicted that was him that I turned around and drove back into that parking lot and gave this young couple $20. And then I drove away knowing I had pleased my Lord, that I told them this was in the name, that Jesus Christ was the one who sent me back to help them, and they began to tell me their story and how they were putting it together. And I knew as they drove off that they were going to continue to connect those dots, that Jesus Christ is real and he really loves them even though they don't know him. So that was opening portals for that couple to come to know the Lord. I was one of many stepping stones in their journey in coming to the Lord. I can't wait to spend eternity with this couple in heaven. So I'm asking you to think about what it is that is the driving thing in your life that excites you to get out of bed and go and do every day. When we work, we have a job and we have to go and do it. You should not be excited about that. But what opportunities do you have at that work that you can fulfill when you're there? If you're home with your children, if you're out working, if you're traveling, if you're staying with family or friends, if you're on vacation and there's strangers all around you, how do you live that time in your life? What do you do with that time? I'm asking you to sit down with the Lord, take your word, and spend some time in it. Be in his presence, and then ask him, what should be the driving force in your life? What should be that one thing that you live for, that you breathe for, that you get up for, that sends you going out to charge into the day? If you're struggling with having that motivation, maybe this would be one of the reasons why. You need to have a motivation that it's that driving force that has so much value. This is eternal value. Nothing is more important than having a kingdom mindset with a kingdom perspective where everything in your life is based off of serving your King. Spend that time with the Lord. Ask him what your motivation should be, what your driving force should be that would be pleasing unto him. And then I'm going to encourage you to get up, go do it. Change your life, change your schedule, change your priority, your to-do list to fit this new perspective so that you can join me in living out your relentless pursuit of Jesus Christ. I'm making my proclamation. I'm a relentless disciple of Jesus Christ. Are you?